Hello everyone, in this video we will cover how to modify the basic block to a woman blouse. So first of all, please download the project file from the link below, then you can have the basic block to start with. So we will go through from how to add seam allowance, some annotations, some fabric informations, to adding pleats, how to add some footers to the body. So now let's go focus on the 2D pattern window and find the seam allowance tool. To add seam allowance, simply click on the pattern line, then you will have the seam allowance shown in black line outside the pattern outline. If you want to add seam allowance to the whole pattern, then drag and cover the whole pattern outline. Then you don't have to click every single pattern outline one by one. So for the dot, you can see that the dot points seam allowance is a bit strange. So we can change the seam allowance shape on the dot. We have two options for the dots based on the folding direction. You can check which one is the best for the dot. The same step for the waist dot as well. So we have different options for the corner, not only the dot points. So for example, sometimes we don't need a sharp corner but want to have some perpendicular corner like this, then we can choose that options. So you can, based on the need for that pattern outline, and choose different corner for the seam allowance. So for the size of seam allowance, the default value is 1 cm. If you want to change to 5 cm, then put 5 in the box. So this is how we can change the seam allowance size. If you want to have a smaller seam allowance on the leg line, then you can also put, like, for example, 0.5 cm. So I again change the start point to another shape for the seam allowance. And next, I want to know the pattern name. So to see the pattern name, you need to show the name from the information displays. You can also check or change the pattern name in Property Editor by selecting the 2D pattern. And then you can change the name under Property Editor. In Object Browser, Scene menu, we can also find the pattern name. As long as you select the pattern, you can see which item is highlighted. Then that pattern name refers to the selected pattern. Now I change the front border's name in the Scene menu. But make sure you show the pattern name, otherwise you can't see it in the 2D pattern window. And next, I want to introduce pattern annotation. And this is how we can add more pattern information, such as the style number, how many pieces that we need for this pattern, what kind of fabrics it should be cut. If you finish, then you can switch to other tool or switch to edit annotation tool if you want to move the placement of this annotation. You can also rotate it or right click to delete. But I want to keep it, so now I just leave it there. If you find you want to change the words or add something more, then you can go back to pattern annotation tool and then add the text inside the text box. So I do the same step to add the annotation for the back borders. And last, I put the annotation to the front left body on the screen. So similar to pattern name, you have to make sure you show the pattern annotation in the information displays. And next, choose pattern symbol. You can simply one click on the pattern outline, then you can add the symbol there. So we can add the pattern symbol such as folding symbol, some shearing or slash symbol on the pattern line. If you want to delete it, then choose Edit Annotation tool and press Delete on the keyboard after you select the pattern symbol. So in this block, I don't need any pattern symbol, so I will delete what I just added. And next is the lodge. So we always need lodge to match the seam line. So you can randomly click on the pattern outline and then you will add the lodge there. But if you want to add the lodge in an accurate position, then you can right click on the pattern outline, then enter the value. For example, I want to have 10 cm on line 2, the blue line. Then I add it and click OK. And do the same step on the back side seam, add the same value on line 2 with 10 cm. Then I can match the side seam according to the lodge when I do the sewing. And then we can also use a walk pattern to check if the seam line length is correct or not. So I start by clicking one point on one pattern and then go to another point on the front pattern. And then the back pattern will move to the shoulder seam and will move along with your mouse. If you want to add a lodge on this point, then right click and choose which pattern to have that lodge. If you choose walked pattern, then now it will add notch to the back body. If I choose stationary pattern, then the notch will be added to the front body. Both patterns, that means the notches will be added on both walked and stationary patterns. And last, if I choose move walked pattern, then the back body will go to the front body by matching the seam, the shoulder seam. So if you don't want to move the back pattern, then you can undo this step. So now I want to introduce the dot manipulation. I want to close the butt dot. So choose the dot and right click, and you can see a rotate dot. So now click on the segment line that the dot will be. So I want to put it on the hem for the new dot. So I click on the hem line and then click on the guideline. That means the dot direction. And then you can move the segment of this pattern to close the dot. And now I can adjust how long the dot is. And then now I close the butt dot and move this dot to the waist. So I need to simulate to see the changes on the 3D garments. So as long as the dot is created in CLO by the dot tool, then you can also manipulate or rotate the dot in CLO. So in this case, I want to have a loose woman blouse, so please delete all the dots in front and back body. And also make sure you delete the sewing lines. So use edit sewing tool and delete the extra sewing lines. And then simulate. So I want to add a curve point on the front hem so it can have a smooth edge. So choose edit curve point to add one curve point and adjust the curve shape. So now I want to have a longer body length. I can select the hemline of front body and back body. Right click and choose offset pattern outline. So with this table, we can adjust how much we can extend the pattern outline. We can also retract. That means to make the body length shorter. So if you put 5 cm in distance, then it will extend or retract 5 cm. So for this case, I want to do extend 8 cm. And then we also have an option called create internal line. If you click that box, then I will have internal line created on the original pattern outline. And for side segment type, we can choose how it will extend for the corner shape. So we have perpendicular, extend, and mirror. So for this case, I choose extend so I can have a smooth side seam. And last, we have different corner options. So if we choose two outlines, then it will affect how it will look like for the corner. But for this case, we just have one hemline for each body. So just keep in default corner. And click OK and do simulation. And we need to add the sewing lines on the extended part. So choose segment sewing and add sewing lines to the extra pattern outline. So now I want to hide the pattern annotations and then do more changes. So first of all, the blouse has an asymmetric design, so I want to remove the symmetry for the front patterns. So select the front patterns, right click and remove linked editing. Then now the blue highlight disappear. That means no more symmetry between these two front patterns. And then I want to merge the center front line. You can see that for the front body, there is no dotted line on the center front. But for the back, you can see a dotted line on the center back. So the dotted line on center back means it is a symmetric line. But for the front, it doesn't have. So I want to cut the panel for the front. So I use internal line. Draw an internal line from the shoulder seam to the hem. And right click on the internal line, choose cut and sew. So there will be sewing line added after I cut the pattern. So you can see in the 3D garment, I have the panel seam on the left hand side on the screen. So now I want to add some fullers for the back body. So we have fullers point and fullers line. So for this case, I choose fullers point. So you can click on the shoulder seam and then click on the hemline. And now I can move the side panel to add fullness. Right click and then you will see this table to enter how much you want to spread. And then simulate. You can see that now the back patterns have more fullness. So this is one of the way to add fullness by point. So actually it is renamed from the tool called spread and slash. And now I want to create a ruffle. And we will start with a rectangle. But before creating this rectangle, I need to know the size for this rectangle. So choose Edit Pattern Tool and click on the side panel. Check how long is this seam. It is 48.66. Then choose Rectangle Tool. I will create a rectangle size with 10 cm times 48.66. So the width depends on your design. Before we spread this rectangle, I want to mark down the spread line. So I split the line first and choose Uniform Split with 6 equal segments. And do the same step on another side, split, and choose Uniform Split with 6 segments. Then we can slash and spread according to this segment point with fullest line tool. So choose fullest line. We start from the right hand side on the screen and click the first point to the second point, and then go to the left line, also click the first point to the second point, and you will have this table. So for fullest line means the first line that we click, and slash lines mean the second line that we click. I want to add extra length for the slash line with 15 cm. So we can control the direction where the extra part will be added from the start, end, or both sides. In this case, I choose end. Then it will go to this direction. And after that, we do the same step for the rest of the 5 segments with same settings. 15 cm for the slash line length, and the direction is end. So now we complete the slash and spread for this ruffle. Now I add the sewing knife to this ruffle and attach it to the side panel. And this sewing line, we should change the sewing line type to turn so that this overlapped layer and reduce the bulkiness. And then in 3D window, right click on the ruffle and choose superimpose over, so it will be placed over the front body, and then simulate. If I want to see a higher quality of the drape, then change the particle distance to 10 and simulate, and you can see we have a smoother wrinkles edge. You can use 5 in particle distance for better quality, as long as the simulation speed is fast enough. Otherwise, you can keep it in 10 first. And now I want to add pleats. Before we add pleats, I want to change this front center front segment points to curve point. So right click on the segment point and choose convert to curve point. And also the point on the hem. And now choose pleats. So this pleats tool can add pleats to the pattern. So click from the leg line and then click on the hem line. And I want to add pleats on the left hand side of the screen. Then click on the left segment. And in this table, we can control what kind of pleats we can add. You can see that we have different full angle arrangement and internal lines for light pleats, box pleats, and accordion pleats. And in specification, we can change the depth of the pleats. If you want to have sun ray pleats, then unlock the ratio and put another value on end or start. If I want to have even pleats, then put the same value on start and end and then lock the ratio. I want to have three knife pleats. If you reverse the direction, then the pleats will be added on the right hand side. But I want to keep it on left hand side. And then for options, if you reverse the direction, then the pleat folding direction will be opposite. You can see the color of internal line is different. But in this case, I will not choose reverse direction. Just keep the default settings. And then click OK. And because the pattern size is bigger, I need to reset the 3D arrangement and also choose strengthen to help us to form a better pleat shapes during the simulation. Because the fabric is very soft, we need to strengthen the fabric to form a better pleat shape. You can see that we have some overlapped area on the ruffle, so I move it a little bit to the right hand side in 3D window. And make sure no overlapped areas, and then we can simulate. So we have 3 knife pleats. And now you can see that the pleat is floating, we need sewing lines to attach the pleat to the leg line. So use free sewing tool. Start the sewing line from the internal line. And then we always change sewing line type to turn for pleats because it is overlapped layers after the pleat is folded. So do the sewing lines on all the pleats. And then simulate. And now you can see that this pleat is a flexible pleat. If I want to fix the pleat, then I need the internal line so that I can add sewing line on the internal line to attach the pleat. So choose internal line tool and then right click. Then I can put 10 cm. Then click OK and press enter to complete the internal line. Now choose free sewing tool, add sewing line on the new internal line and to the red internal line. So we have 3 pairs of sewing lines for 3 pleats. After all the sewing, I have a pleat like this. So this is all the changes for this blouse. And last, I want to introduce a tool called point of measurement, the POM tool. It can help us to measure the pattern. So for example, I want to know the body length of this blouse. Then I click from the high point shoulder to the hemline. And you can see that now the menu in Object Browser is changed to POM. And you can edit the description. And now I know that this body length from high point shoulder is 15.8 cm. And secondly, I want to measure the shoulder length. Then click from the leg line to the armhole. And rename the description. Then the shoulder length is 12.6 cm. We can also measure outside the pattern, for example, the back leg depth. We can start from the center back point and then move the line perpendicularly. Similar step for the front leg depth. And this POM tool also can measure across different patterns. So I start from the back pattern, measure from the waist point, and then go to the front pattern and the side panel. When you want to complete this measurement line, then double click. So before you double click, you can continue this measurement line across different patterns. Added POM tool can adjust this measurement line if you find something wrong or you want to delete this POM line. So all these measurement lines by POM tool is purple color. You can also see the black line on the 3D garments with this 2D measurement. If you want to hide them, then go to Garment Displays and hide 2D measurements. If you choose Show, then you will see the black line on the garments. So this is the end of this pattern modification. Thank you for watching.